On Easter, I arrived at my parents' home, expecting a warm welcome, but they didn't invite me in. "Your sister revealed the truth about you," they said coldly, before closing the door in my face. Rage surged through me, and I shouted that I was done paying her rent. She could figure it out on her own. I'd always believed holidays were a sacred pause, a chance to mend frayed family ties. No matter how tense things got, I thought we'd follow an unwritten rule. For one day, we'd bury our grudges, endure stiff dinners, fake smiles through strained small talk, and part ways grateful it was done. But this Easter broke that illusion. I showed up hoping for peace. It had been 3 months since our last major clash with my parents. Long enough, I figured, for tempers to cool. I told myself they were just caught up in emotions, misled or mistaken. I imagined walking in with gifts, a box of pastries from Mom's favorite bakery and a bottle of red wine Dad once loved. And we'd slip back into normalcy. Even if we avoided the past pulling into their driveway, everything seemed familiar. The garden was pristine, the porch chairs unmoved, the wind chimes still swaying. Yet something felt wrong, not a gut instinct, but a subtle unease, like misplacing a key in your own home. I rang the doorbell, standing there awkwardly, clutching the wine like a nervous salesman. The door cracked open and Dad's face appeared, no warmth, no spark, just weariness where confidence once stood. "Go," he said, "then your sister told us the real you." Before I could ask what he meant, the door shut. I stood frozen, waiting for it to reopen. It didn't. I knocked again. Nothing. I pressed the bell. Silence. In that moment, I didn't feel pain, just stupidity. Then I yelled, declaring that if this was their choice, so be it. I wouldn't cover Madison's rent anymore. She could handle it herself. I left the wine on the porch and walked away. That's when the door flew open. Madison stepped out, as if she'd been lurking, listening. She didn't say a word, just stood there, phone in hand, maybe recording, hoping I'd lose it on camera. I refused to give her that victory. I got in my car and drove off. Not home, but nowhere, windows down, no radio, just my thoughts, trying to piece together what lies she'd spun to make my own parents reject me. I knew she'd lied. It wasn't new. Madison was always the perfect child, the delicate daughter who needed shielding. If she broke something and wept, I'd take the blame. Nothing had changed. This time, she'd told them I'd stolen her money, forced her to pay me hundreds monthly, and threatened to evict her from the apartment I let her live in for free. She said I mocked her, claiming she'd be nothing without me. Every word was false, but the worst part wasn't her lies, it was that our parents believed her. Again, what I didn't see coming was what followed 2 days later. A text from an unknown number arrived, just a photo. Madison at a lavish brunch, toasting with strangers. One wore my rare hoodie, missing for months. Then I saw the background, my apartment balcony. I hadn't been there in over a week. I thought she was keeping a low profile, but she was hosting parties in my place with my money. It hit me this wasn't just lies, it was vengeance, something deeper. Something she'd been planning. I recalled a heated fight months back, something I'd said, nearly forgot. She hadn't. This was intentional, calculated. And it wasn't finished. The photo gnawed at me. Madison, smirking with strangers, sipping mimosas on my balcony like she owned it. My hoodie on some guy who looked too at ease. It wasn't just betrayal, it was defiance, a slap in the face like she wanted me to see it. That night I went to the apartment unannounced. I still had the keys, I'd never thought to take them back. My mistake, I arrived near midnight. The lights blazed, music pounding, some generic pop song rattling the walls. I parked across the street watching. The place was overrun, too many people. I walked in like I belonged, because I did. The scene was chaos. Empty cans littered the floor, a scarf draped over one of my framed prints, scribbles on the walls. A guy was passed out on the rug. Another tried lighting a joint in the kitchen with a candle. 2 girls were snapping selfies in my bathroom, posing with my toothbrush, no sign of Madison. Yet, I cut the music. People froze, suddenly aware they didn't belong. One guy demanded to know who I was. "The one who pays for this place," I said. The room went quiet. I grabbed a trash bag and started tossing bottles. The crowd slunk out, grumbling like I'd spoiled their night. 10 minutes later, Madison walked in with takeout and a new group of friends. She saw me, took in the scene, and didn't blink. "Why are you here?" she asked, as if she were blameless. In her mind, this was her right, like the apartment was hers by default. I didn't argue. I told her to pack her stuff. She had 48 hours. Then I changed the locks. She didn't fight. Not yet. She just smirked and said, "Hope you're ready for what's coming." The next morning, my bank called. Not a fraud alert, just a flagged transfer. $10,000 had moved from an old account to an app I didn't know. Guess who had access? Madison. She wasn't just trashing my home, she was stealing my money. I froze the account and called a lawyer, but the cash was gone. She ignored my calls. Her message was clear. This was war, and she'd struck first after locking the account. I couldn't sleep. Her words, "Hope you're ready for what's coming," looped in my head. At the time, they didn't feel like a threat. Now they did. I spent the next day cleaning the apartment. 2 trash bags later, I found a broken shelf and noticed someone had stolen the TV remote. Just the remote. Somehow, that stung more than the rest. Madison hadn't replied to any messages. Not the eviction notice, not my lawyer's emails, not even my late-night jabs. Then an email arrived. The subject was my full name. Inside, a Dropbox link. No text, no sender. I clicked it. Curiosity 1, the folder held screenshots of private chats with an ex from years ago. Nothing criminal, but enough to ruin me if twisted. Petty complaints, a joke about my boss, a photo I thought was deleted forever. Below, one line, "Let's see how your job likes this you." This wasn't about money or rent or recent spats. This was years of resentment, sharpened into a weapon. I dug through the files, trying to figure out how she'd gotten them. Most weren't sent directly by me. She'd likely hacked my laptop or cloud, or someone helped her. Then I found an audio file. I listened 3 times to believe it. A spliced recording of a call with my mom from months ago, edited to sound like I was threatening Madison, demanding cash, ridiculing her. This was the proof she'd given our parents. The lie that made them shut me out. It wasn't just deception, it was meticulous. The final blow came when my apartment key fob stopped working. The building manager said my access was revoked. Madison had shown a forged lease claiming I'd signed over ownership. Worse, she'd filed a restraining order against me. I was barred from my own home. The manager wouldn't meet me, citing a pending lawsuit. That night, I found the restraining order in my email, real, court-filed with my name. Her story was a tapestry of lies. Fake audio, a blurry photo of a bruise likely from bumping a table, and claims I'd threatened her life over money. She didn't just want revenge, she wanted to erase me. I stayed in a cheap motel while my lawyer battled the order. I told no one, just kept working, pretending my world wasn't crumbling. That lasted 5 days. Then the leak. Madison sent the screenshots to my workplace, mutual friends, even a local Facebook group. My reputation was shredded. HR suspended me, pending review. I knew it was over 2 days later my lawyer called, half chuckling. Madison had filed for conservatorship, claiming I was too unstable to manage my finances. She wanted legal control of my money. It was laughable but terrifying in its boldness then, a break. My lawyer said Madison was overconfident, like she thought no one was watching. That's when I realized someone might be. Dad had been silent, no texts, no calls, no Bible verses he usually sent after fights. I called him from a blocked number. He answered, wary, and said, "Stop digging, you're making it worse." For who? That's when I knew he wasn't fully with her. He admitted her evidence seemed off, but Mom wouldn't budge. Days later, my ex, Vanessa, texted, "Check who's been messaging me from your number." The thread showed creepy, threatening texts, all fake to look like me. Madison had crafted a false pattern of harassment. Then Mom texted, "Why did you break into our house?" I hadn't, but someone had garage windows smashed, tools strewn. Madison pinned it on me to bolster her restraining order. Finally, the tide shifted. The condo manager found Madison's forged notary stamp, a felony. Security footage caught her posing as me in the office. The building filed a police report. My lawyer gathered the evidence, fake texts, doctored audio, the Dropbox leak. It all screamed fraud and harassment then, a twist. One of Madison's party guests, an ex of a tech-savvy friend she'd wronged, sent me proof of how she'd spoofed my number and hacked my accounts. 6 months later, the restraining orders were dropped. The case closed. Madison disappeared. I moved back into my condo, taking remote jobs, trying to rebuild. Then a handwritten letter arrived. No return address. Madison claimed someone was after her, car vandalized, apartment broken into. A note read, "Hope it was worth it." She ended with, "I don't expect forgiveness, I just don't want to end up dead." I didn't respond. 3 nights later, a sticky note appeared on my door. "You shielded her once, how far will you go now?" No cameras caught who left it. When I texted Madison asking if someone else might be after her, she replied, "Yes, I thought he was gone." Now I'm left wondering, who else did she cross? Am I still in the crosshairs or just caught in someone else's vendetta? If you enjoyed this story and felt its raw emotion, please like, share, and subscribe for more real-life tales and heartfelt experiences. Your support means everything and helps us share more stories like this. Thank you for reading, and I'll see you in the next one.